Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Sorry, I was having a hard time getting things together before I switched to my camera. It is time for just a word from the Word. Our passage this morning comes from the book of Second Kings, chapter 6, verses 16 and 17, and I'm reading from the King James. And he answered, this is Elisha the prophet, to his servant, and he answered, Fear not. For they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. As I was praying about some things this morning, this passage came to mind. Lord, Elisha prayed, open his eyes. As I prayed that about situations, um, I thought how important that it is for God to open our eyes, and that our prayer needs to be, Lord, open our eyes. Man, I wish I could tell you how much I'm feeling the Holy Ghost in that this morning. Lord, open our eyes. Help us to see beyond what we just see with the natural eye. Help us to see what's going on in the spirit. Help us to have an eternal perspective. Now, the practicality of Elisha's prayer is evident when you read 2 Kings 6. Elisha kind of brought it on to himself, right? Well, kind of. King of Syria was coming against the king of Israel, and everything that the king of Syria plotted, the Lord would tell his prophet Elisha, and Elisha would tell the king of Israel, so that Israel would not be caught in any trap. And it's kind of funny as you read through 2 Kings 6, it basically says that Israel, through God, thwarted the plans of the king of Assyria not once and not twice, which means that this happened multiple times. That's the sense that you get in the passage, that God moved upon the behalf of his people Israel, and they were saved out of the trap that the enemy had laid against them multiple times, not just once, not just twice, but multiple times. Well, the enemy got really angry. And so because the king of Syria was thinking, okay, we've got a mole here. We've got a traitor here in our midst. Who is it? And somebody said, no, it's not anybody here. It's the prophet Elisha that God is speaking to Elisha, and Elisha is warning the king of Israel. And so they find that Elisha is in Dothan. And I read that this morning. I thought, that's some serious stuff right there. I need to dig into that whole Dothan thing. But that's a rabbit trail, but a good one, I think. Um, but they're like, okay, we're going to send an army to Dothan, and we're going to capture this prophet who's been telling on us. And they get there and they surround the whole city. And I can only imagine that Elisha's prophet, his servant, was like pretty freaked out that all this was going on. And so Elisha prays this prayer, Lord, open his eyes. And God does. The servant sees the armies of the Lord encamped round about them. Y'all, Elisha was praying that his servant would be able to see beyond his circumstances, to see that God was moving and working on their behalf in the unseen spirit realm. Oh, saints, this morning's just a word from the word, and this is stirring in my spirit. Lord, open our eyes. Open our eyes to see beyond flesh and blood, to look and see what's really going on in the spirit realm, to know and to trust that God is working on our behalf. Oh, saints, my prayer for you today is, Lord, open our eyes that we might see what you are doing behind the scenes. That with open eyes and open hearts, our faith will be increased by what we see in the Spirit. Pray that prayer today. I'm not telling you that God's going to open your eyes and you're going to see chariots of fire round about you. I ain't praying that. But I am praying that today you see with an eternal perspective. Eternity is what matters, y'all. As the old song says, we're living this life to live again. Pray for eyes to see the eternal today. God bless you. This has been just a word from the Word. Have a beautiful day. And Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow morning.